Hey guys, and how about we watch Wario vs King Dedede Death Battle? So, from what I said before, not much has changed. I do still believe Dedede will win, but what I will say is that I realize I don't have that much evidence to back it up. I'll say right out the gate, I don't like scaling characters unless it's entirely necessary and it is entirely reasonable to do so. The Ryu Akuma example is good. Or say, in my top 10, scaling Robot Boy to his peers like Proto Boy or Robot Man. Those are somewhat reasonable. Dedede is a weird example. From what I just skimmed through to see, as far as actual feats, he hasn't shown very much. It's implied that he's the third fastest character in the Kirby series behind Kirby and then Meta Knight, and that's not counting side characters, by the way. That's the only place I get that is from the weird ninja, the Samurai Kirby minigame. I'm sure there's more you can find, but as far as concrete numbers, there's nothing for Dedede. There was one time he spit Kirby out to chase down Nightmare. It took a very long time for Kirby to hit the ground again, but there's no way to measure that since we don't know how much wind resistance Kirby gets. We don't know if he was floating. Ultimately, point I'm getting at here, the only way to really say that Dedede is super powerful is to say he must be somewhat close to Kirby. And I just want to mention, even being sort of close to Kirby as far as power, strength goes, is more than enough to beat Wario here, no matter what Wario has. Perhaps a segue here. Kirby, if people didn't know, in Kirby Star Allies got a major upgrade. Basically, he took a baseball bat, swung it, hit a meteor 9,999 light years away in the course of, I think it was about 27 seconds, and that meteor was apparently big enough, destructive enough, to destroy the entirety of Popstar. So, trust me, even if Dedede is somewhat close to Kirby's level of power, Wario stands no chance. It's just hard for me to justify him being there. The only thing that puts him on that level is being around characters like Kirby or Bandana Waddle Dee, who cracked a planet. Anyway, it's not up to me, it's up to these guys, and I might get it right, I might get it wrong, I don't know. But either way, let's start our show. Play.
This Mother's Day, for a limited time only, 23andMe is taking $30 off their health and ancestry kit until May 13th. It's a fantastic gift to celebrate what makes mom special through personalized genetic insights on health, traits, and more. It's really simple to use. I used the kit myself and discovered a lot of really interesting facts. So this Mother's Day, get $30 off the 23andMe Health and Ancestry Kit by going to 23andme.com/deathbattle. That's the number 23andme.com/deathbattle. Again, that's 23andme.com/deathbattle. Offer ends May 13th.
It's a lesson every hero has to learn someday. Just because your enemy is a little on the chubby side doesn't mean he's a pushover.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about Wario, the greedy and repulsive rival to Mario.
And King Dedede, the royal nemesis to everybody's favorite pink puffball, Kirby. He's whiz and I'm
Is
boosted.
Dedede really
And
even
it's our job
Kirby's
to analyze
nemesis
their
at this
weapons,
point?
armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I think it got to the point where Dark
Mario's a
Matter
pretty
is
busy
Kirby's
guy.
real
If he's not saving
villain.
his favorite lady, Princess
Dedede is
Peach,
just a
he's off saving a whole
weird
different
friend.
princess in a whole different land.
Until he returned home one day to find his castle under someone else's control.
First off, Mario has a castle?
Look at how
Awesome.
Wario
But it
looked
had
in
been
his
taken
first
by a chubby
appearance.
squatter dressed in yellow named Wario.
Wario is Mario's opposite in every way. While Mario is kind and heroic, Wario is selfish and mischievous.
While Mario is thick with one C, Wario has 2, maybe 3 C's.
What?
That's
No.
not. His name and symbol are even inspired by the Japanese word for bad, Warui. You can't get any less subtle than Wario.
No kidding, but he's not some random chump. Turns out Wario is one of the 7 star children, possessing legendary power, and even grew up with Mario.
Wario's grudge
Very
against
nice.
Mario goes way back. While they were children, they played cops and robbers a total of 1,256 times. And despite frequently asking otherwise, Wario only got to be the cop once.
I just love that he kept track. He kept track of every single instance where they
Whether or
played
not he
cops
was
and robbers.
accidentally conditioned into villainy, Wario has two main goals: ruin Mario's life and get as rich as possible through any means necessary, including crime, treasure hunting, and even making video games.
He's got the power to rival Mario, too. He's super strong and can bash through tons of rock and heavy metal with his shoulder bash attack. If that's not enough,
That's pretty
he'll
impressive.
literally chew his opponents up. Ugh, just imagine those giant white bricks he calls teeth just closing around you.
He's also weirdly malleable, capable of being crushed, squished, twisted, and stretched with little to no ill effect.
Hold on, is that like an
However,
actual just
Wario's
plain
deadliest
game
natural
mechanic?
ability is definitely his inexplicable farting.
Whiz, that's no simple toot. This is the fabled flatulence of folklore itself. The atomic vapors of annihilation.
Oh,
the
God.
Waft.
Oh no.
Lame name after all that.
Oh
Waft is a
wow.
highly specialized technique which discharges an enormous burst of toxic gas so brutal it'll topple nearly any foe. When aimed correctly, this blast can even propel Wario through the air like a rocket while crop dusting anyone beneath his feet. It's, technically speaking, just majestic.
Right. Well, that's not exactly wrong. In some cases, Wario's waft has even been shown to be comparable to nuclear warheads.
By the way, I spent some time in your lab and I made a new invention.
How did you get into my lab?
Technically, that was only in Smash Bros, so not actually canon. But actually, now that I think about it, does he use...
Behold, the Windbreaker!
Oh no, it's just a whoopee cushion.
That's nice. Let's move on.
Listen, Wiz, I'm really proud of this. She speaks!
Anyway, aside from his own abilities,
Anyway, sorry,
Wario has access to numerous weapons and power-ups.
For the most part, he doesn't
One
use
of a
his
kind
waft
chopper.
outside of
Also,
Smash Bros, right?
explosive.
Kind
The
of
only other
redundant when
instance
he can
is
fart
in,
There's always room for explosions, Wiz.
Strikers?
Check out this huge blast some of his
Unless
bombs
I-
caused, which he was totally at the center of and survived, by the way.
Oh,
His
nice.
power-ups include a jetpack, a metal body, and even Mario's own invincibility star.
Ooh.
He can increase his
Now
size
that's
by
useful.
plugging an air pump into himself and...
What?
Just don't question it. With the dragon hat, he spews fire. With the eagle statue, he takes flight. And he can even combine both of these to become King Dragon Wario, utilizing both these abilities while dramatically increasing his power and his weight.
And with just a little mouthful of rotten garlic, he dons pink tights to become Wario Man!
Does-
This super form increases his strength and lets him fly, because he doesn't have enough ways to do that already, I guess.
He doesn't always need some random object of power to transform. Some of Wario's forms come about because of entirely reactionary means.
He can become Bouncy Wario after being crushed into paper, Flaming Wario after being set on fire,
Ah, that's so
Puppy
just-
Wario after getting stung by bees.
It's an
and
interesting
Fat Wario after
game
eating too
mechanic, I
much.
gotta say.
Well, getting fat's a superpower?
These sound more like excuses than power-ups.
Becomes Crazy Wario after getting drunk. Though
I'm
it's
sorry.
small in the American version, because, you know, for kids and stuff, but anyway, I'm powering up. Jocelyn, order another 1,000 six-packs.
On his quest to humiliate his red-clad rival and accumulate Scrooge McDuck levels of riches, Wario has been through thick and thin.
Like Mario, he survived that big explosion in the tennis court, which
Yep,
we
you
figured
mentioned
out is
that.
equal to 2.4 megatons of TNT. But Wario's also survived the Shake King blowing up in his face.
The Shake King was
Oh.
a pirate with immense electrical power. Upon his defeat, his body detonated, and the resulting blast split the sky.
Oh, well.
By comparing the blast and the parting clouds
Now
to a map
that
of the
is
Shake
something.
dimension, we determined the explosion's exact energy output to be equivalent to about 96 sextillion tons of TNT.
That's enough juice to blow up a large moon, and Wario was totally fine.
He can seemingly eat anything, including explosives and his own bike. He can, of course.
Worth
keep up
noting,
with
I
Mario,
should mention
who
this,
kicked a
but they might
61
mention this
million ton
later.
Castle and piloted the Star Diver at Mach 375. Also, Wario destroyed the Black Jewel.
Kirby
an entity whose
split
death
the planet,
triggered the collapse of an
like,
entire
just fully in
dimension.
half.
So, does everyone he fights blow up when they die, or what?
Mario may best him time and time again, particularly thanks to Wario's clearly low intelligence, but his tenacity and willingness to never give up is strangely admirable.
this greedy bastard will never stop doing what he loves.
Okay.
The country of Dreamland is a
His
peaceful
durability
paradise.
seems to be his
Filled with
best.
some of the most adorable
attribute.
critters I've ever seen. Oh, look at the little waddle-dees waddle.
But wouldn't you know it, all this pristine prosperity is actually run by a tyrannical, self-imposed monarch, King Dedede.
Ah, yes, the classic dictator at work. They show you what they want you to see, but really, there's so much horror behind
He's
the
only
scenes.
2 feet tall? What?
Suppose he did
What even
take
is
his
this?
feet once.
I know
But
Kirby's
Dedede
like
doesn't
8
really have
inches
that
tall,
much
but
sway
come
over
on!
his questionably claimed kingdom.
But come
Mainly
on!
because of one plucky pink
DDD
hero.
is only 2
Kirby,
feet tall?
Everyone's
Can you
favorite
even
lovable
picture that?
marshmallow. Suck it, Jigglypuff. Yeah, this little guy's always been there
He just-
to ruin the Triple D's scheme.
Schemes
You
which,
just look
to
at
be
him and you
fair,
think
aren't
he's
always evil.
big,
Like
massive,
the time he
I don't
stole
know.
the Star Rod, seemingly for nefarious purposes, but in actuality to protect his citizens from the villainous Nightmare.
Yeah, it turns out this big bad penguin's mean side doesn't come from a place of true evil at all. Instead, it's because he's just really jealous of Kirby.
Right, before Kirby arrived, Dedede was a tubby bird with only a modicum of respect. After seeing Kirby's popularity and success, the king made up his mind. He would surpass the marshmallow.
Cue the 70s music. It's time for a training montage. Through countless hours of intense work and grueling training, DDD pushed himself to mimic Kirby's abilities and more. His speed improved, his strength skyrocketed, and in time, he even learned what all penguins hope to achieve one day.
Oh.
By inhaling a bunch of air, he can puff his body up like a balloon and fly.
To be clear, this is not a naturally occurring ability of his. He somehow trained himself to do this. This is backed up by no science whatsoever and makes absolutely no goddamn sense.
But why
Shut up
not?
and let the penguin fly. And that's not the only Kirby trick he copied. His lungs are so strong now, he can inhale entire enemies and launch them at high speeds. He can even fire powerful air bullets that can break solid rock. You know, I've been
That's a
training
good
my
point.
air bullet technique.
I never
too.
actually think of
You?
that. They're just
Boomstick, that's
they're just
impossible.
air.
Human lungs don't have the capacity to.
Gotcha. But he's got way more up his sleeves than just stolen skills.
Absolutely. Sure, he's got an army of minions at his command, but when he wants to take someone down personally, Dedede jumps into the ring with one of his giant-sized hammers.
He's got a bunch to pick from.
A bunch?
His usual favorite might look like an oversized wooden mallet, but it can summon freezing ice as he swings it, and secretly featers a built-in jet booster to supercharge his striking power.
Yeah.
Oh, you scared?
Oh, the jet
Here I
booster.
come. Here I come, yeah, boom, bitch! While this move is garbage and smash, it feels really good when you pull it off.
Through the power of the
It's
Star
not
Rod,
that
he can amplify
bad.
this into
It's
the
not that
Star
bad.
Hammer. With this magic coursing through it, Dedede can cast several spells. He can increase his size, launch energy spheres, break the fourth wall, and
What?
mystically create up to 64 duplicates of himself.
Just more penguin goodness to go around. But when the Big D wants to get hardcore, he dons a mask and whips out his ultimate weapon, the electric hammer.
Also, I think we can just omit that fourth wall bit. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's not much of a disguise, but the electric hammer is a definite upgrade over his jet hammer.
Hell yeah, it's way stronger, can blast electricity, and has a flamethrower. Oh, and also a multi-barreled rocket launcher. Gun sword? Not good enough. Sniper scythe? Forget it. Give me a rocket launcher hammer any day of the week.
Sure.
And remember that army of minions I mentioned before? Well, Dedede has a weird habit of actually carrying some of them around with him. Like, I guess, in his pocket?
I don't know.
Aren't enough. He can pull out this spiky sea urchin called a Gordo that's heavy enough to send
Is that what
almost
they're
anyone
supposed to be?
flying.
Or
The Gordo's one of his greatest tools, but it can also be a real pain in the ass.
Interesting that he's so jealous of Kirby's abilities, despite having quite a noteworthy arsenal of his own. Thankfully, he has become much less antagonistic over the years, even directly aiding Kirby in protecting Dreamland from time to time.
And while he's not the
fairly
sharpest
regularly
bird in the
at this
box,
point.
he isn't all fluff. He can inhale and spit Kirby out with enough force to break through the planet Pop Star's atmosphere.
did he
Which means
actually break
Dedede
through the
can
atmosphere?
spit objects up to 33 times the speed of sound.
I don't know.
That's
I think it's
disgusting.
questionable whether or
Nothing
not
when you
he
think about how he can match
actually
Kirby
broke
in
the
sheer
atmosphere.
strength. This little guy can hit so hard.
It was
he destroyed
nighttime
a whole
anyway.
planet. God, calm down, Curb. Why are you wrecking the place where you live?
Planet Popstar is shown to be similar in size to the planet Shiverstar, which strongly resembles a frozen-over Earth. To destroy an Earth-sized planet like this, Kirby must have been striking with a force of over 1,900 septillion tons of TNT.
Oh, come on. You know that there's a better feat than that.
Pull that off. And get this, apparently he's only 8 inches tall. He's a planet buster that fits in the palm of your hand.
He's shown even greater feats too.
There you go.
And while Dedede isn't necessarily
Okay, so
damage every time
clearly
Kirby lands a
they
punch,
just
he does fight on equal
they
footing.
know
Who
they
is
just don't
making
think it's
these
necessary.
Cute, cuddly characters so freaking deadly.
On a similar note, Dedede is also comparable to Meta Knight, who once casually flew from one end of the galaxy to the other in seconds.
I'm sorry,
Now,
I didn't know
he
that.
such a
I
crazy
didn't
feat
know
like
that.
himself. But keeping up with Meta Knight,
I didn't know that about Meta
dodging a
Knight.
meteor around 160,000 miles per hour certainly proves he's faster than you probably think.
Like when he fought the alien Magellan, who ripped apart a dimension with a weird star-shaped black hole, which Dedede survived. This penguin's gotta be doing some kind of performance-enhancing drugs. Oh, Jesus!
Though he still holds a massive grudge, King Dedede has proved his ability countless times, to the detriment, but often benefit, of Dreamland. Perhaps he's earned the title of king after all.
Well, he definitely thinks so.
There's only one bona fide ruler of Capitan, and that's me, King Dedede!
Alright, I'm just
All right, the combatants
convinced
are
that
set.
Dedede
We've
is
run the
gonna
day
win
through
at this
all
point.
possibilities.
But first,
I don't
need
think
to
there's
inhale
much
some
that
food.
Wario can
By
do
now,
to
you've probably
sway
heard of
me.
Blue Apron, the leading meal kit delivery service in the
Literally,
US.
they acknowledged that Kirby has greater feats, but they didn't even get into what those feats entail. Again,
I've been trying out their best of the
9,999
US
light
series, which
years.
means I've had the pleasure of
Kirby
enjoying
just
several
smacked,
recipes inspired by different regions
anyway.
of the country. It's actually
Anyway,
been very
yeah.
inspiring, and they're
Yeah,
delightful
DDD's
meals
probably
to
gonna
boot.
win.
This is, in my opinion, the best aspect of Blue Apron.
I didn't know
Giving
how
all the
fast Meta
benefits of
Knight could
discovering
fly,
new
though.
meals and learning how to make them, but without any confusion or last-minute crises.
My favorite part is feeling like a master chef, making creative and delicious meals with my own hands. You guys really need to try it out.
It's pretty nice coming home knowing I'll have a delicious meal I can whip up with ease. To start making delicious,
yeah.
brag-worthy meals at home
Yeah, Blue
without
Apron.
the hassle, try Blue Apron.
Check out this.
Sometimes I wonder why they are such a loyal sponsor of Death Battle.
/battle.
Why Blue Apron?
A better way to cook.
But right now, it's time for a death battle!
Okay. Time to see it. A cage match. The nuclear blast isn't anything on what Kirby's been dishing out to DDD for years. What's wrong with the Waddle Dee? He's so excited. Okay. It's weird, we had them in their powered up forms, and now they're in their weaker forms later into the fight. This is revenge. For both of them, it's revenge. What? Got the little DDDs. Hit him too hard. Oh, yep. Oh, gee. I knew it was coming. Oh, but he's fine. DDD's fine. Look at this. Oh, he's going for another. Oh no! Oh no, don't do it. Oh jeez. The crouch.
I told you those Gordos
Oh,
were
God.
in the ass. Wario sure
Oh, it was
had the upper hand
foreshadowing.
when it came to versatility, especially with his reactionary power-up and totally unexpected techniques. Like, who would ever predict your opponent would drop an atomic fart in your mouth?
Oh god.
Jeez.
Oh no.
But ultimately, DDD still had plenty of counter options to use. For example, his hammer's ice properties could halt Wario's many fire attacks.
And unlike Wario, DDD's flight didn't require any specific power-ups to control the air.
Unfortunately, neither Wario nor DDD have truly shown their greatest potential speed. Compared to the likes of Mario and Meta Knight, it seems DDD held the advantage, though admittedly it's impossible to know the exact specifics of that advantage.
Yeah, but given how tough these guys were, speed wasn't the biggest factor anyway. What we really had to know was how likely they could even hurt each other. I mean, they've been through some pretty nasty stuff. But guess what? Wario surviving the Shake King exploding doesn't stack up to DDD getting sucked into a black hole.
By examining the event horizon of nebulous
yeah.
singularity, we can estimate a range of the black hole's destructive potential. Even the lowest possible option comes out to nearly 86 octillion tons of TNT. That is over 5 times more powerful than the detonating Shake King. And again, that's the
Kirby
lowest
is so
option. The black hole's
broken.
destructive
Just the
potential
entire
is
universe.
likely even
Like
higher
I
than
said,
that.
Bandana
So Wario had a
Waddle
hard time
D
landing any meaningful
is
damage
able to
because
crack
bird
the
was
planet,
just too
not
tough.
quite as
But if
severely as
DDD's
Kirby,
anywhere
but
as strong
still.
as Kirby is, and he should be given that they fight all the time, then he was making hits that were somewhere close to Earth-sized planet-breaking level. Definitely getting the edge over Wario's durability.
Wario's versatility and tenacity made this
And
an
again, they
incredibly close
just
bout,
didn't
but DDD's
address
strength,
Kirby's
durability, and
real
speed were
potential.
just enough to take the victory.
He really took the penguin.
The
Oh,
winner
no.
is King DDD.
Well, it was fun.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode. If you want the battle music for yourself, you can
Like,
get it
I
by
just
clicking
knew
the link
enough
below.
about
And
Kirby.
if you want some more Death Battle,
Once
make sure
that
to check out
analysis
Captain
was
Marvel
over,
versus
they
Shazam
omitted
over there.
enough that, yeah. Ben 10? Oh, jeez. Oh, really? Alright, just gonna put a guess out there, Ben 10. I would guess Ben 10. Some of his aliens get absolutely ridiculous, like universe levels. I wish I watched the show. I think Alien X is one of his most powerful ones, but I don't think that's his most powerful one. I think there's another, or maybe even a couple more on top of that. Regardless, Green Lantern, I know, just comics, you know. He is going to be really ridiculously powerful, but I just don't see him coming to universe level, you know? And on top of that, I am very surprised that they have Ben 10 versus Green Lantern. Nova versus Green Lantern was actually a suggestion that I personally prefer much more than Ben 10. Yeah, Green Lantern versus Nova is a much more interesting idea in my personal opinion. But regardless, I guess we could get that later on, further down the line. I guess I don't have anything else to add on that fight. I don't know all the specifics of Green Lantern, obviously. Not many people would memorize every single bit of the lore and every single feat of every single comic book character. It's not feasible. I haven't heard much about Green Lantern's exact limits. I know... Oh, actually, that's a connection between the two that I didn't recognize. Both the Green Lantern ring and the Omnitrix are, run on batteries. They can run out of power, so that could be another aspect to the fight entirely. Anyway, I enjoyed DDD versus Wario, although they definitely could have gone a little bit more climactic, I think, for the ending. Also, using Smash Bros. As if it was canon is a little bit iffy in my opinion. But I mean, ultimately it makes the fights look even cooler when they do that. Alright, well, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. But I will see all of you in the next video. If you like the